Welcome
to episode 185 of Doctor Who Time and Space, a weekly father and son Doctor Who podcast where we take a look at what has happened in the last 7 days.
I'm D. Dr. Cool.
And I'm L. Lewis Mean.
Welcome.
I can't think of anything exciting with my name.
No, it's exciting enough as it is. If you've got a name like Moon, what more do you need?
Yeah.
That's exciting enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Wink, wink.
So, what do we have on this week's show?
So then, it's the part 5 of the 6th challenge, and we'll be looking at our top 6 monsters of all time.
Monsters and villains.
Monsters and villains, and we'll explain that later on.
Okay, we will be giving our initial thoughts on Power of the Daleks, which came out this week.
Why did you have to do it like that? We'd only be talking about that for a few seconds.
Yeah, but it's new stuff, so we'll be talking about it.
Another new thing that's come up in the Doctor Who world this week is the Class episode 5. So we'll be reviewing Brave-ish Heart.
We'll be giving our thoughts on the Tom Baker classic, and I mean classic, City of Death.
And we'll be looking at the latest news in the Doctor Who universe.
Brilliant. So first up, we usually talk a little bit about the sorts of stuff that we've both been doing during the week, whether it's Who related or non-Who related. As long as it's got some element of geekism about it, we usually talk about it. What have you been up to this week?
Well, sorry about that. Since you introduced it in the opening sequence, earlier than you should have said it, we'll talk about it first. Power of the Daleks has dropped on BBC Store. We were in the first 1,000 to buy it.
We were, weren't
which means we get free art cards.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Because it actually it dropped at 5 o'clock, didn't it?
5:50.
5:50 was it?
Yeah.
5:50.
It was the exact time it dropped on BBC Store to the minute.
And we were there hovering over our to buy button so that we could watch it. We've only actually watched the first part so far, haven't we? Because we've been saving it up to watch.
We have.
To talk about more.
We were
fully next week.
intending to watch episode 2 on Sunday, but we didn't get a chance.
No. So, but we will be watching the whole of the rest of it
for
ahead of next
week's
show.
podcast, so you can hear our proper thoughts.
So, what was your thoughts then on the first episode?
I thought the first episode was a brilliant animation.
Yeah, no, it's good fun,
really
wasn't
enjoyable, really, really great animating techniques. I think it's improved from last time. I think it's a different animator. Yeah.
What I really liked about it, and this goes back not so much to the animation but more so to the story, I really liked how the companions, Ben and Polly, coped with the different character that this Doctor presented.
Patrick Troughton is good in this.
Yeah, but they sort of were quite confused by the fact that he was a completely different sort of guy.
Yeah, this is the first time we see his recorder.
Yeah, no, indeed. And I'm sure after a couple of blasts on the recorder, they were probably soon wishing to have the grumpy Doctor back.
Yeah.
But no, it was good, wasn't it? It was an interesting. I mean, it's quite a slow burner. The first.
Yeah,
story.
it's just set up because it's a 6-part episode.
Yeah.
There's a lot that needs to be set up.
Yeah.
Do you know what this story's about?
The whole thing?
Yeah.
No, I don't really.
Okay.
I'll be finding out a little bit more, I guess, as we start watching it.
It's quite an interesting story.
Yeah.
I've known about it, and I believe we're going to see a different side to the Daleks, so I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay, that'll be interesting then. So, I mean, in terms of where this sits in the timeline of the Daleks, how many stories had they had prior to this one?
4 prior to this one. They had 6 stories in the 60s.
Okay.
And this was their first, obviously, with Patrick Troughton, because this is the first Patrick Troughton. So yeah, this is their 5th, because William Hartnell encountered them 4 times, and Patrick Troughton encountered them twice.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it's in terms of story, it's the first part certainly was good. It was a good lead up one. It led to a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think we'll talk about the story too much, just because we don't want to give away any spoilers to anyone that hasn't seen it.
Yeah, because it's not out on DVD, so most people would want to buy it on DVD. So, first, so and we did report last week it would be on colour.
Yeah, that's quite interesting,
which
isn't it?
Is quite interesting. Would you rather, from seeing this first part, would you rather see it in black and white, or would you rather...
that was Lewis me falling off the chair.
Sorry. Would you rather see it in black and white, or would you rather see it in colour?
To be honest, I don't really mind. I know you said that you like, because it was originally black and white, you like watching it in black and white. Because it's a cartoon, I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me too much either way. So, but no, I did. I just really enjoyed it anyway. I thought it was good. It was a good story. I think it's. I say I like it when the stories build up quite slowly anyway.
Yeah.
And it was great to see. It was great to see the companions starting to interact with a different
sort of character,
of the Doctor, because he's completely different than William Hartnell.
Yeah, I don't think you've seen Ben and Polly with William Hartnell in the story.
No, I haven't.
But you've seen Patrick Troughton with them.
Yes, in
Moonbase.
I think also what it does show you as well, and it really sort of hits it home to you when watching that first part, is what a brave move the makers of Doctor Who took.
I mean, they took a risk because it could have gone downhill. It could have been too silly.
Yeah.
It could have been, disastrous, but it wasn't. It prolonged its life for 50 more years, because we're coming up to the 53rd anniversary this month.
Yeah.
We'll be doing something about that in 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
An article about 53 years of Doctor Who.
53 years, wow. But yeah, I mean, they could have taken the same sort of approach as what they did with, say, James Bond films, where nobody sort of blinks an eye the fact that he's a completely different person.
He's still the same character.
And then in the end, it doesn't really matter because it is the same character. But it was very clever, and what I liked about it is that they opened up a whole sort of way of changing the focus. So because each Doctor does have a completely different character, and therefore it gives sort of like endless amounts of ideas really for the stories. Because if you imagine the second Doctor's approach to how to deal with an enemy, even the same enemy that the first Doctor would have come across would be different.
Yeah.
So I'm really impressed. I definitely recommend to people that they go out and get Power of the Daleks, whether they're waiting for the DVD or whether they're downloading it.
I was taking a look at the BBC store last week, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, there's a lot on there,
in terms of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I mean, Class is already on there.
Yeah.
But why would you want to buy that? It's on there for 12 months.
It's on
BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
But if you're like in, do they have BBC iPlayer in other countries?
No, that's true. That's a good point. No, they probably don't actually. It's probably.
Do they have the BBC store in other countries?
There's ways of getting around it, but.
So then,
what else are you doing then, other than Power of the Daleks? I mean, as we say, we'll talk more about Power of the Daleks next week, or were you going to talk some more about it now?
I just wanted to say there's a poll here which I thought would be interesting to carry out right now.
Okay, what's that?
Which is, which 3 stories would you like to see animated?
Okay.
So, do you want me to read?
Yeah, read them out. Which 3? Yeah.
Marco Polo, Galaxy 4, The Mythmakers, Daleks Master Plan, Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, The Celestial Toymaker, The Smugglers, The Highlands, The Macra Terror, The Faceless Ones, Evil of the Daleks, The Abominable Snowman, Fury from the Deep, The Wheel in Space, and The Space Pirates. Which 3 would you like to see?
Okay, that's really, really difficult actually, because there's a number in there that immediately jump out.
And there's a number which I wouldn't want to say, really.
The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve. I mean, I'm quite intrigued by that, mainly because of when we were talking to Pete Purvis. And he was sort of declaring his favourite
Fury
one.
from the Deep, Deborah Watling said was her favourite.
Oh, she did, you're right, yeah.
And Evil of the Daleks was Fraser Hines, right?
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, we could pick all three of those for that very reason. But I think I'm going to go for the Macra.
Okay.
Because there's something about that. I just really like the idea of the Macra. I'm going to go for Wheel in Space.
Yeah.
Because it's old Cybermen. And I'm going to go for the Celestial Toymaker.
Okay, I'm going to also say Wheel in Space.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say 2 Dalek episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the Celestial Toymaker, but I'm going to say, as well as Wheel in Space, I'm going to say Dalek's Master Plan.
Yeah.
And Evil of the Daleks, because they're
Excellent.
both meant to be great. And I think Evil of the Daleks is sort of a follow-up, sort of a sequel to Power of the Daleks.
Brilliant.
Should we see what people have thought?
Yeah, well, have we got any results yet?
Well, Evil of the Daleks' Master Plan, and Fury from the Deep are the top 3, according to people.
And is perchance the Space Pirates the bottom one? Because...
No, Galaxy 4 is the bottom one, because we already have part of that reel.
Okay, yeah. Oh, interesting. Actually, looking at it, it's quite a high proportion of people have said Evil of the Daleks, haven't they?
Yeah, and Dalek's Master Plan.
Yeah.
Wait, Dalek's Master Plan is 20. Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
So good.
No,
poll.
good poll that. So aside from watching that first bit of Power of the Daleks, and actually, but just before we move on from that, actually, I was really impressed with the BBC store just more generally, and it's nice I can stream and watch it on the iPad and things like that. So it's brilliant.
It's cool. As always, I've been listening to my audio. The Rose Marinas didn't get much of that listened to because the fireworks were distracting me from the attention.
The fireworks.
They were right outside. Well, not right outside, but quite close to my house, so they were so loud and I could see them. So
yeah,
you know.
Ironically, since I live right in the centre of town and there's a big firework display on the beach, I actually didn't hear them at all.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I've got a feeling I did pop out to the pub at one point, so maybe it was whilst I was in there.
So what have you been up to? I don't think I've got anything else.
I mean, I'll keep my section very brief because obviously we watched City of Death, we've watched the first part of Power of the Daleks. Aside from that,
and Class,
and Class, non-Who bits. What have I watched? Carried on watching The Walking Dead, which was really good.
Yeah, episode 3.
Episode 3, yep. Nice intense again. Looking like a good series, I think. Really building up nicely. I watched not the most recent, but the previous week's episode of Westworld.
Yeah.
And that again sort of picked up a bit of a pace, having sort of died down a little bit. So yeah, enjoying that. And I think that's about it. Actually, I also watched the. I know it's later than I should have done, but they did a sort of story so far thing on The Walking Dead, which and that was quite interesting because I'd forgotten about how much. I've forgotten big chunks of the story and a lot of the characters and things. So that was quite good to do.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to actually? It'd have to go on for days if they did a 53 years of Doctor Who story like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. So
Wait,
yeah,
is it an hour long? The Walking Dead.
It was about an hour 20 minutes actually.
Oh.
So yeah, it was good, and there was quite a big chunk on each of the series. There's a lot they didn't mention as well, but it was good. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think that's probably pretty much it for what I've done.
Okay.
But 2 continuing series, both very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well then, should we usually about here we stop and we think to ourselves, isn't it time to review the episode of Class, don't we?
Yes, and today we're reviewing episode 5 of Class, Bravish Heart. So then, Class is the Doctor Who spin-off, which has recently been airing on BBC 3, which is now online, so basically it's on the iPlayer.
Mm-hmm.
We've been reviewing it for the last 4 weeks.
Yep.
And last week, Co-Owner of a Lonely Heart, the 4th episode in the series, was the first in the series to be a 2-parter instead of a standalone episode. And we were left with a cliffhanger. Spoiler phobes, at your risk here. So if you haven't watched Class episode 5 yet, and you want to, and you don't want it spoiled, then please turn off or move on in the episode.
Yeah, come back to us later.
Come back to us later when you've watched it, because we're going to have an enjoyable chat. But yes, we ended with the cliffhanger last time, and April jumped into the realm of the Shadowkin, and Ram soon closely followed, as well as the deadly flower petals. And that sounds silly. Should I read a synopsis for you?
Yeah, just go through the synopsis then.
So then, battling through the Shadowkin realm, April knows that there is no going back. She has to defeat Korakinas. On Earth, the invasion of the petals is rapidly snowballing. Confronted with the threat of the planet's extinction, new headmistress Dorothy attempts to force Charlie into making a transformational decision, but Miss Quill has other ideas for him. As Charlie, Mateus and Tanya, I actually said it, try to stop the petals from annihilating the human race, April must fight the terrifying force of Korakinas, light years away from home.
Okay. So, what was the name of the episode again?
Bravest Heart.
Bravest Heart. Right, okay. So, it was quite, although it was the second part of a two-parter, it moved away quite a bit, I think, from what we've seen so far. In that it was the first time it took us to another planet.
Yeah, it was quite hard to... It's... We must say, if you haven't watched the review, that last week we said episode 4, Coania of a Lonely Heart, was the best episode so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we said it would be hard to stand up to the quality of that one. And I think this one wasn't as good.
No.
But I would say that it did resolve the story quite well.
Yeah, it was still a good episode. It was still an enjoyable episode. But it didn't have quite the same power as what the first one, the first part of it had. I don't think.
No, it didn't.
But I don't know. But it depends what you're looking for. Visually, it was very good.
It was, yeah.
So, I mean, by the very nature of the fact that we got to visit the planet of the whatever they're called, Shadowkin.
I liked the people as well that had been killed by the flower petals.
Yeah, no, that's right. That was really gross,
quite
wasn't
cool,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the flower petals. Just talking about the flower petals for a bit. Possibly, if somebody was to say to you, "I'm going to send a horde of evil to get you, and they shall be flower petals," you know, it's the worst sounding monster of all time, isn't it?
But
actually,
it was
quite
a
effective.
really good idea.
Yeah, it was.
You'd think they were just there just because, it's autumn. There's gonna be loads of plants stuff going around, but then it gets worse.
Well, it does make you wonder. And you could say this is a flaw, albeit that I can understand why for the purposes of good viewing. But in reality, if you had these big flower petals, if you had this issue with flower petals like we had in this series, the army would be in and things like that.
Yeah.
You'd see sort of intervention and there's nothing
Unit.
other than... Yeah, that's right, they would. You'd have a unit running around, whereas all you've got here is 4 or 5 school kids running around trying to sort it all out. So,
but except for there's like 3 of them and Miss Quill and Dorothy in this episode, which is...
What do you make of the head teacher then, Dorothy?
I think she's quite a sinister character. I think she's quite interesting.
I'm still not 100% sure who she is or where she's from.
I don't think we're meant to. No, I don't think we're meant to. I think it's some sort of mystery. But she's the headmistress. She's very mysterious.
Yeah.
We don't really have any idea whether she's human or whether she's a robot. Well, she said she wasn't a robot. But we do know she's related to the governors in some way.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed that she was going to be from UNIT.
Me too.
But she said that she wasn't, didn't she?
Yeah.
Said she was far bigger than that or something.
Miss Quill said, she said that we found out that Coal Hill School had been changed to Academy and the new set of governors had come in to protect it. And I guess that might be why Unit didn't come in, because they're sort of their own sort of army by the governors.
Yeah, there's something weird about these governors, isn't there?
Yeah.
So that means that Ian's probably not a governor anymore.
I know.
Ah, what?
Did it still say him on the... Does it still say him?
I don't know.
On the thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to pose a question to you, and we'll do this a couple of times during the show, but Class Episode 5.
Yeah.
Too good, too bad.
Yeah. Good. I think it was a good resolution to what had been set up in the first part.
Yep.
Yeah, you go.
Okay, what do I think was the best thing about it? I think perhaps I like the sort of transformation. I like the journey that April is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I mean she's obviously she's a fairly quiet, nice-natured person, but she's also got quite a drive to her, and she's very brave.
Yeah.
I like,
and that's why it's called Bravish Heart.
Indeed, that is true. No, I like what they did with her.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably
interesting
my
character development sort of thing.
Yeah.
Bad. I think it was a bit of a letdown by the fact that I was hoping for something even better than the first week all week.
Yeah.
Because last week was so good that I was expecting for something of the same quality or better than the episodes we'd seen.
Yeah. I think my bad would probably be, and it's not really that bad, but funny enough, of all the stories we've had so far, of all the episodes I should say rather than stories, this has been the one that feels more Doctor Who like than any of the others, which is fine. It is a Doctor Who spin-off after all, but in a way that sort of lessened it to a degree.
It feels more like it should be a Doctor Who story, because there wasn't, in the first 4 episodes there were sort of young adult themes in them.
Yeah.
This episode there wasn't really.
No, this felt more. It felt. I said to you, and I don't think you necessarily agreed with me, but it had to me the feel of some of the more childish, maybe not be the right word, but some of the more family friendly Russell T Davies stories. It had that sort of feel about it.
I don't think it felt like a young adult episode of a series.
No, maybe like the Sarah Jane Adventures, but with some grim things happening to people with being eaten up by flower petals and a bit of swearing every now and then.
Yeah, not that much.
No, but but it was still good.
Yeah,
it was still good. It wasn't my favourite episode. I think last week was my favourite.
I think last week was, yeah.
What is an interesting point, and I know we both agreed on this, was that it did have the feeling of a season close.
Yes, it did. This felt like an epic sort of series finale.
Yeah. That
we would get in Doctor Who.
But we know damn well that it isn't the finale, because we've still got quite a few episodes. So
we've still got 3 left.
That's odd. So either they're aiming for something really, really epic, or it's going to be a bit of a letdown.
Well, we'll find out in the synopsis later on, because we've got 2 synopsises instead of 1.
Wowza.
Class this week.
So we'll be able to catch up with that in the news a little bit later.
News. So characters. Let's talk about the characters. What do you think about character development in this series?
I think
so far
in the series in general, I think it's been one of the real strong points.
Yeah, I think it's set up quite a lot of development between the 4 or 5 main characters.
Yeah. Well, let's think a little bit about it then. So if we take the main characters, so who have we got in here? We've got April and
Ram.
Ram. I always call him Rap, don't I? Ram.
Or it was Rap last week or something.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Then we've got Charlie.
Yeah.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Do we count Mateus?
Mateus is pretty kitty, isn't he?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Miss Quill.
Yeah. Okay, so they're probably the main ones.
The main 6. They're the ones that are in all 8 episodes.
The strongest characters to me of the lot are probably April and Ralph.
Ram.
I just said that to annoy you. Yeah. April and Ram, I think, are probably the strongest one, followed by Miss Quill.
Yeah, I like Miss Quill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
my favourite is April.
Mm-hmm.
But Ram I didn't like in the first 2 episodes, but I've grown to like him a bit more.
Yeah.
As the series has gone on.
I like the fact that there's obviously a lot of stuff going on, and not only just for the kids, but also for their parents are seeing a lot of unbelievable things.
I know.
But even despite all of that going on, they'll still tell them off for kissing a boy or something like that. You know what I mean? It's quite funny because there's still a real family type. The sorts of things that happen, the arguments that happen in normal families involving teenagers, are still happening, despite the fact that there's like a really great shouting in the background. So, which I think is part of its charm. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, it doesn't. And I think I've said this all the weeks, but it's shaping up to be a good series. I hope it's renewed. Yeah. But it's limited, I suppose.
I'm not 100% convinced it will be renewed, because part of me thinks it's there to be a filler in the Doctor Who gap year.
Yeah. I said I hope it will be renewed. I didn't say I think it will.
No. But it's certainly, it's worthy of being renewed.
Yeah, it's worthy of being renewed, but is there that much we can do with a bunch of 6th formers in a school when it's called what it's called?
Yeah. And maybe it is better just to be a one-off series. They've still done more episodes.
Depending on what happens in the final.
Yeah. They've still done more than they did of K9.
Yeah. And Company.
K9 and Company, yeah.
Yeah.
So, school's on the doors then. Getting out your school book from A star through to ungraded or whatever, or to F.
To F. B+.
B+. Yeah, we've agreed every week so far, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I'll probably do agree. Probably is a B+ again.
Last week was an A, so all the episodes have got at least B+ for us so far.
Yeah, I think it's probably of the 5 episodes, it's probably the middle one. In terms of where I definitely preferred last week's.
Yeah.
Then I think I preferred the season opener.
Yeah.
Then it was probably this one.
Yeah. But it was good.
But it's still it was still good. It's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
Enjoyable to view.
So I'm looking forward to next week's.
Yes.
What do you think of next week's Next Time Trader? Not really much shown, really.
I mean the trailer for the next one, and you'll expand on it. No, you won't, because you expanded it last week, didn't you? So it looks like they're all based in this one room, pretty much, aren't they? Presumably, whilst Quill is having the thing taken out of her head.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause friction amongst the group of them.
Yeah.
It can go one of 2 ways, can it? Really, it can either be really boring or it can be great. I generally really like things when they're set in one room,
and with limited characters.
Yeah, I always think it's a challenge for good writing when you do that. I mean, there's some great examples of where that's done really effectively.
In Doctor Who as well.
Well, certainly. I mean, probably to me, probably the strongest one in Doctor Who to this effect, probably Midnight.
Yeah. Listen also does it quite well.
Yeah, that's just true. That's mainly in one area, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does have a few other bits.
With only a few characters.
Yeah. So, when they do it, when it's done well, it's really, really brilliant. Good.
Yeah.
Is that enough about that episode
yes,
of Class?
Yes, it is enough about that episode of Class.
So that brings us on to
the news. So then, the news this week for Doctor Who and Class. So then, relatively sad news to begin with.
Yep.
On the Doctor Who front. And that is the Doctor Who experience in Cardiff is set to close next year.
Can't believe that, can you?
I know.
Why do we know why it's closing? Probably you'll come on to that, I guess, now, won't you?
Yeah, here's the report. BBC Worldwide confirmed that the Doctor Who experience has enjoyed a fantastic 5-year run at Cardiff Bay, but sadly, a 5-year sublease from the City of Cardiff Council will come to an end in summer 2017. The experience opened in July 2012 and quickly became the place to go for all Doctor Who fans from all over the world. The building is thought to be one of the first of its kind to be used for an exhibition centre. The frame is constructed using steel beams with the cover stretched over the entire building, giving it an appearance of a giant tent. Sad news.
Yeah.
We did go earlier in the year.
Lucky we did, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
we
did
went
it say
to
when it
Cardiff.
was closing? Did it?
Summer 2017.
Summer 2017.
I'd recommend you go.
Yeah.
It's a very enjoyable trip.
Yeah. No, we took some great pictures from it, haven't we? Which you've been posting them on Twitter periodically, and perhaps at some point we'll load them up onto your main website.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I can probably do that.
Yeah, no,
I've got them on my
computer.
But I think this is quite sad. It's quite a shame. Hopefully it will move location.
Yeah.
There is an online petition, I think, to save it.
Yeah, I mean, it may be they move it back to London temporarily or something like that, or maybe they should take it on the road.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
So move it to different locations for a period of time.
Yeah.
Because it'd be you could do the main exhibit, but it'd be very difficult to do the 3D element of it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, so what are your thoughts on it on this thing?
I think it's been there for 5 years, plus that year it was in London, and I've been twice. I think it's a shame because it's such a good exhibit. It's going to be hard to store all of that stuff somewhere, if they hopefully they'll store it.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt they will. I mean, maybe we'll see it going back to Longleat.
Maybe. That'd be good.
Yeah, no, it's sad news though, isn't it? But
very sad.
But I'm just glad that we got to see it when we did.
Yeah, I think it's an enjoyable day or days out. So I'd head to Cardiff if you possibly can before the summer.
Yeah.
Will there be a Series 10 exhibit, do you believe, or do you think it won't have time for that?
I don't think they will have time for it, no.
No, I'd head there right now. The Series 9 exhibit particularly is brilliant, so go over there. You can see some brilliant stuff. Or go over to our Twitter at drwhotime and own as in N space.
Yeah, I think so. It's I don't know, because we'd sort of said it, but how great it would be to be able to go again, perhaps when they next changed the opening sequence or something. We're obviously not going to get a chance to do that now. So
I know.
It's a sad moment, but it was good when it started and it lasted, and I'm sure we'll see something of its type again.
Yeah, I think we will,
somewhere.
if not soon, but hopefully one day we'll see something cool.
I guess something like that, an exhibition like that is always going to have a relatively limited run, because once you've been once, you're probably not going to go regularly again.
Yeah, for a few years.
You know, maybe whenever there's a new exhibit or something like that, but it's
because
not like,
of the bit at the beginning, you don't really want to go too many times.
No.
Because it does change every few years.
Yeah, that's right. But it's not like going to, say, somewhere like the Natural History Museum, which is going to have a really wide sort of set of people that can be interested in it, whereas something like this, immediately you're limited to people that like Doctor Who.
Yeah. But it's a shame now we don't have a really good excuse to go to Cardiff again for a while.
Well, that's true. We had a really great time there, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm sure we can think of something.
Yeah.
Perhaps next time we'll just go to other places that they filmed at.
Yeah,
Because I mean, we did that a little bit last time, but there's still others, isn't there? Some of the other castles and things nearby. Yeah. We'll find a good reason. We've got to go back to Cardiff because we love Cardiff.
We have to. It's brilliant. You could go, viewers. If any of our listeners, we mostly get listeners from England. the UK. But I'd say head over to Cardiff right now.
Yeah, preferably before the exhibition closes.
Yeah, when you can, try and book tickets because it's a brilliant exhibition.
Yeah. So, after that little bit of news, do we have something else to treat us with, to put a smile back on our faces after the sadness of the closure?
Yeah, we have 2 story synopsises for class. Warning that for the next 5 minutes, there may be spoilers. If you don't like reading synopsis, there won't be too many. If you don't like reading synopsises, please don't read it. Or listen.
So what's the synopsis then? What's the episode called first of all?
So it's called The Metaphysical Engine, or What Quill Did. So with the gang trapped in detention and out of the way, Miss Quill accepts Dorothy's astonishing offer to help remove the arm from her head and to reclaim her freedom. Well, this is interesting, I've got a theory. Alongside Ballon, an imprisoned shapeshifter, Miss Quill travels in a metaphysical engine and is taken to impossible, extraordinary and dangerous worlds, collecting materials in preparation for her life-changing procedure. After an emotional encounter with a surgeon in a nearly fatal operation, Miss Quill must find a way to return to Earth, transformed and ready for war. This episode will be available to view on BBC Three iPlayer on Saturday the 26th of November from 10 a.m. Now I have an opinion. Do you think that episode 6 will base around what's happening with the children?
Yeah.
And there'll be Miss Quill popping in for a second?
Yeah.
But then the other episode will be the other way round, where it focuses on Miss Quill and we see the other kids for a few minutes.
Probably, yeah.
So it'll be point of views from different people. Do you think that'll be sort of a 2-parter?
Yeah, maybe. Bit like how you had the 2 stories running hand in hand in the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
The Petals versus the Shadowkin.
Yeah, I think that sounds... What do you think of the synopsis for The Metaphysical Engine, or What Quill Did?
Sounds interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be another one of the more spacey ones, a bit more like today's, perhaps.
Yeah.
So not so much class-based. But maybe we've gone beyond that now. Maybe the rest of the series will be more...
It's a bit limited when you have it just in the class.
Yeah. But in reality, is it any different than what you had in the John Pertwee era of Doctor Who, where everything was primarily based around the unit headquarters?
True.
So, yeah. Okay. No, interesting. So that's synopsis 1. And that's the penultimate story, yeah?
Yeah. We don't have a title for class episode 8.
Okay.
We're just calling it the series 1 finale at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers again. Facing an impossible choice, our heroes must use all they've learned to save Earth. But how far are they prepared to go? And will they have to pay a price? Unable to recover from the truths they have faced, the gang has splintered. Liberated from enslavement, Quill prepares to take her revenge. But they must reunite when the Shadowkin return, waging a ruthless, unrelenting war. Resolute to claim April's heart and Charlie's weapon, Korakinas threatens to kill their families until he has what he desires, and the friends must fight to prevent him. This time, not everyone will make it out alive.
Ooh.
This episode will air on the 3rd of December on BBC Three iPlayer. What do you think of the synopsis for the Series 1 finale?
Well, the last statement was very interesting.
Yes.
Not everyone will get out alive. So, what do you think? Who do you think are the likely casualties?
I don't know. Do you think it could be the main characters? Miss Quill?
Miss Quill's probably one of the more likely ones.
Yeah, I think so.
I still think there could be something about once the thing is removed from her head that she goes rogue, but then ends up perhaps saving the day, possibly at the expense of her own life.
Yeah. I think, Miss Quill could be possible to die. I mean, April's got a whole thing with her heart, so...
Yeah, true. Yeah. Difficult to say. The Shadow King guy, maybe.
Yeah. I hope Tanya will die because she's sort of the least necessary one.
Do you think so?
She's not a bad character. It's just she's
Yeah.
the least necessary one.
Yeah.
Not the
I
worst
guess.
one, the least necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. She's sort of like the clever one. She's like the, I don't know. She's the one that's going to solve everything, I think.
Yeah, but she doesn't seem to be solving anything.
I don't think any of the main sort of like classmates will die.
The parents?
Yeah, maybe.
Dorothy?
The odd parent here and there.
I don't know.
April's dad.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know, but no, interesting ending.
Yeah.
As I said, you can see it building more and more. It's becoming more of a street sci-fi story.
Yeah,
I think.
it is, rather than just set inside the school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
good synopsis for the final.
Yeah. No, indeed, definitely.
Let's see, do I have this?
Do we have any more news?
Let's see if there's anything
Mhm.
else. Okay, so the Lethbridge Stewart novels.
Mhm.
So Candy Jar Books have released details of their Lethbridge Stewart range of novels, which is called Blood of Atlantis. So this will be written by Simon A. Forward, and it will be published this month. You can see the synopsis and cover at the Mr. Lewis Moon Adventures.weebly.com website.
How many of these books are they? There seems to be every couple of weeks when there seems to be news on the Lethbridge Stewart novels.
There's every week where there's filler
Yeah. No,
news, every week where we don't have much to talk about.
there seems to be a lot of these books.
Yeah,
You know,
they do.
They churn out pretty quick.
This book revolves around Atlantis, a location the Doctor visited twice in the television series, in The Underwater Menace and The Time Monster, and also got its name checked in The Diamonds. The novel can be pre-ordered from the Candy Jar Books website individually, or as part of the Series 3 bundle, both UK and overseas, which includes the novel Time Squared by Rick Cross, available now, and Mind of Stone by Ian McLean, coming December. It is also the subscription deal for those wanting to get 6 books for the price of 5, UK only, covering the Series 3 titles, plus the Series 4 titles released early 2017. I think the Lethbridge Stewart novels are quite cool.
Yeah, no, it does. It sounds. It's a good idea for a story because of the fact that obviously UNIT, their whole existence was around, sort of, fighting aliens and stuff like that. So it's quite good to catch up a little bit with some of the other things that they encountered.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's good. I like it.
I think that's it for the news.
Yeah.
But please stay aware for this Friday the 18th.
Yeah.
Where they will be showing an exclusive clip for Return of Dr. Mysterio. We'll be talking about the exclusive clip next week.
Yeah. No,
Probably be about 2 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, probably. So we're thinking it is going to be just a clip and not an actual.
We're guessing.
Thing, yeah. Well, we should find out next week. Not too long to wait.
Yeah. So.
Be the first bit of new Who for a period of time.
First thing we've seen really from the Christmas special.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Okay. No, that's good. So, anything else news-wise, or does that?
I don't think so.
Item?
I think we're on to our next item.
Which is?
The top 6 monsters! And villains. So, the 6 challenge, which we've been doing the last few weeks, we've done classic Who episodes, new Who episodes, Doctors, and scenes. So, this week we're moving on to monsters and villains. And we're going to be looking at our top 6 each.
So you might want to just explain briefly the concept again. So
we have 6 each, 6 of our favourite monsters and villains each.
We've not seen each other 6.
We've not seen each other 6. We have to try and chat and try and change the results.
Okay, so
these probably.
So I need to. So you'll read yours out, and then I will challenge to see whether I think that you're wrong on something.
These could possibly be same or similar.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't talk for that long, we'll try and do a top 3 list.
Okay.
My top monsters then.
And villains.
And villains. I've only got one villain there, so that's pretty obvious who that's going to be. The Master / Missy.
Okay.
I class that as one.
Mm-hmm.
Cybermen.
Yeah.
Zygons.
Uh-huh.
Daleks.
Yeah.
Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
Sontarans.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting because you've gone for pretty much the best, the strongest villains.
Yeah.
Haven't you?
Yeah.
And they're probably the only sort of, in terms of the most commonly used ones.
I was going to be stupid and put Draconians.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because they look cool. Well, you might do that with my list, because my list's actually a bit different than yours.
Okay.
Shall I go through it?
Interesting, yeah.
Okay, for mine, I've got Zygons,
Yeah.
Sidemen,
Yeah.
and Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
So that's 3 that we agree on.
The Master's not in there.
No. No, I haven't.
That's
and I'll explain why in a minute.
Okay.
Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 are a little bit more left field, but we'll see what you think.
Okrons.
Flood.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I think they're
good ideas.
such a great idea, yeah. And they look really, really cool.
Yeah.
And although I've not seen the episode for these,
The
Vashta Nerada.
Okay.
Just because of the way that they look.
Can I see that list again? Sorry. Yeah. All monsters that have appeared in New Who. Have I got all monsters? I've got all monsters that have appeared in New Who.
Yeah, mine have all appeared in New Who as well as old. Yeah. Well, obviously some of them have new only, but okay. So let's get challenging then. Now you may have noticed a very obvious omission to one. Well, you noticed one already, but there's arguably 2 that you could say I should have in mind that I haven't, and I'll give you the reasons for those.
Yeah.
Master. First one for the Master. Master's a great character, but I think generally, if you look at the stories where the Master's in it and at the strongest, he's usually a supporting character. He's not the only villain that's in it. So you'll get so there are some differences, but generally you'll have like the Autons and the Master, the Sidemen and Missy,
the Daleks and Missy, and Davros.
Yeah, indeed. You know what I mean? So quite often the Master isn't the main villain.
Yeah, but I'm classing him on his own. I love Roger Delgado.
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure how you don't. After you've said all of that, I still can't figure how you don't have the Master / Missy.
I mean, I love the Master as a character.
Yeah.
But doesn't quite make my top 6. And the other obvious missing one is the most obvious.
Daleks. Now, I just did that as a filler one. I didn't know what else to put. And I did want to put Weeping Angels in there, actually. Mm-hmm. But instead I chose the Daleks because I thought the Weeping Angels are such a good idea. I was going to put them in, but the Daleks have been in so many iconic episodes.
Well, that's where I was going to come on to next, because I haven't got the Daleks, but I think probably the decision not to put the Daleks in there is purely based on the fact that they're always in it.
I know, I don't like that, but I do think they're quite good. I mean, the good thing about Daleks is they're basically based on the Germans, the Nazis, and Davros is basically based on Hitler. And that idea, that original idea that's been set, I think is absolutely brilliant. I think it's great.
And I think also, you look at, particularly in the classic era, the Dalek stories are really strong, aren't they?
They are, yes.
Certainly I've not seen all of them, but
Genesis
they're all very highly rated, aren't they? And of course, Genesis being my favourite ever episode of Doctor Who.
Mine too.
So I can see a good argument to suggest that the Daleks should be in my list, but the reason they're not is because they feel like they've been a bit overused. But having said that, I've not applied the same thinking to the Cybermen, who I think actually you could argue
that are even more overused.
You could argue that, yeah. You could argue that that's the case. So I think I may be willing to remove the Bastion and the Narada, however cool they look, and replace them with the Daleks.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Now, I'm going to sort of name a few things to you that I think are potential ones to get into your list. I'm surprised that you've got the Sontarans ahead of, say, the Sea Devils or the Silurians.
Okay, I was tempted to have the Silurians in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Sea Devils, we haven't seen enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Sontarans, being clones, being sort of, being how they are.
Yeah.
Being, a race of clones that are sort of, I think they're such good original creation.
Don't you think, though, that at the same point, whilst I do agree with you in that respect, they've been cheapened in many respects through the whole Strax being a good guy sort of thing.
I do.
I know we've had this discussion before on the podcast.
I do think they might have been cheated by that, but I also believe their ideas are good. The idea of the monsters are good. They've been in some good stories.
Yeah.
I think they're quite powerful. I think they're quite strong in terms of villains. I think they're quite good.
What I'm also quite interested in with your list is that it indicates that none of the best monsters have been generated through the new Who era.
Yes, I know.
All of your ones
I
are
have
all...
put that, and I'm surprised you haven't got. I'm surprised you've got mainly monsters that have been in the New Who era.
Yeah, it surprises me actually. I've got three from each actually.
Yeah.
Three from each one.
And I've got all of them have been in both eras.
Yeah.
For me.
The other thing with your list, they've all been in multiple stories.
They have, yes.
So you've not got anyone there that's been so good that's really caught your eye from a single story. Now, an example to me of one, I don't think it would probably get into your list, but the whole concept to say the Teller.
Yeah. Now,
from season 8.
I'm not a big fan of the episode Time Heist. I like it, but I don't think it's one of the best ones. I don't think, and I think the Teller looks cool, but I don't think it's strong enough to make it to the top ever list. I mean, I see why you have the Flood in there, and I see why you had the Vrastra and Nada in there, and I am tempted to swap the Sontarans with the Weeping Angels, but I'm afraid you're not going to shift my list.
Not at all?
No, you're not.
So you're going to keep the Sontarans there?
I'm going to keep the Sontarans there.
You have shifted. I am going to willingly replace the Bastion and Narada with the Daleks.
Okay.
Just because of the history that surrounds them in the early episodes.
Okay.
So my final list will be Zygons, Cybermen, Weeping Angels, Ice Warriors, the Flood, and the Daleks.
Cool. My final list would be exactly the same as the first list, so just rewind it 10 minutes. But mine are the Master / Missy, Cybermen, Daleks, Zygons, Ice Warriors, and Sontarans.
So if you had to actually narrow that down to 3, would you be able to do that? I
just wanted to say that I'm surprised that I haven't. I'm surprised I don't have Autons in here.
Yeah, actually, the Autons are an omission of mine as well, because I do really like the Autons. But I think if I was going to go for 3 out of this, I would probably go for the Zygons, the Cybermen, and the Weeping Angels.
I'm going to go for the Zygons,
Mm-hmm.
the Cybermen, and the Master.
Okay. I think the reason the Cybermen are there for me is because they are so close to us.
Yes.
And that's why I can really associate with them, because
Yeah.
the whole concept of people modifying their bodies to make themselves more perfect, we see it all the time with celebrities and things like that, and it's a very similar take on that
Plus,
concept.
I love episodes like Tomb of the Cybermen,
Mm-hmm.
The Invasion, the Earthshock, Dark Water, Death in Heaven. They've been in so many iconic stories.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than the Daleks.
Yeah, no, you might be right. So does that round up our little challenge, whatever it's called?
6 challenge.
And we will reveal what the stands for in the last story, will we?
What
The
do you
last
mean?
episode. What does stand for?
It doesn't stand for anything. It stands for MHHHHH.
Fill in the gaps, whatever you want to do. So, can I make a guess of what we're going to be doing next week?
Yep.
Companions?
Yeah. But it will be our final one.
The final
for
one.
a while
Wow.
at least, because we're going to stop for the next week because we've got our 53 year anniversary. Are we going to do something the following week to do a series 1 overview for class?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, actually.
Yeah.
Round up that.
So we'll be stopping for a few weeks. We might come back for 1 week the week after.
Not stopping the podcast. Just stopping this
stop.
item.
We might come back for 1 or 2. 1 week the next week. But obviously after that we'll have 3 weeks to celebrate Christmas and New Year. So, and all the stuff that goes on around there for us at Doctor Who in the Doctor Universe.
Yeah. Good. Okay, well that brings us on to our final section today. I think.
And we will be reviewing City of Death. So then, one of Doctor Who's most. But last week you thought I was a weirdo. Now you know why I'm singing it.
They don't know.
No.
They probably think, who's that weirdo on there?
Last week, the magic randomizer button, which we'll explain a bit more later, picked out for us one of people's favourite Doctor Who stories of all time, which is City of Death, which is based and filmed. I think it's the first episode to be entirely set abroad and filmed abroad.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll talk about whether we think it's as classic as people think in a second. But now Decool's got a little bit of a synopsis about City of Death.
So, before I go on with that, we looked up in the Doctor Who magazine and the poll that they last did a couple of years back, and it's fifth, isn't it?
Yes, it is fifth.
Highest episode of all time.
Yeah.
So that puts a little bit of context around it. So we're in the Romana 2 era of Tom Baker. In terms of a story for this one, they're basically the Doctor and Romana are in Paris, Sweet Paris, and they start feeling the effects of some form of sort of time distortion. So it's quite funny because we were watching it, and there were moments where we both thought that the disc had gone a bit funny.
Yeah, because my DVD player had been playing funny because earlier in the week the disc wasn't working earlier on in the week, and I thought it was the DVD player, but it was really the disc because I put something on it by accident. So because I held it by the wrong place.
Oh, I see. So a lot of the episode is based at the Louvre, where the Doctor and Romana are looking at all the artwork, and in particular focusing on a particular piece of classic artwork, the Mona Lisa, the woman that never smiles.
With no eyebrows.
With no eyebrows, that's right. Whilst they're doing that, they stumble upon the Countess Scaroloni, and she's got this bracelet on, which the Doctor soon identifies is a bracelet that actually scans security systems. He manages to actually get that off of her, and basically becomes quite suspicious with the fact that she's obviously trying to steal the Mona Lisa for whatever reason. They then get held up by this mysterious man in a sort of a long raincoat, I think.
Duggan.
Inspector Duggan. And he's been tailing the Count Scaroloni for quite a long time, because he's effectively accusing him of being responsible for a large number of lost art treasures appearing on the market. And basically it's believed that the Scarolonis, between the two of them, are attempting to steal the Mona Lisa. They're captured by the Countess, and in doing so the Doctor actually helps them escape, and they look around the Count's mansion, and whilst they're doing that they discover this equipment that's being used by a sort of professor sort of character that's experimenting with time, and it's been that's been causing the Doctor's time distortions. They also discover behind this old wall that there are 6 exact copies of the Mona Lisa, each one real, painted by Leonardo da Vinci himself.
Yeah.
So, is that enough of a basic synopsis?
Are we moving back?
Yeah, moving back to normal places. Here we are.
So then, should I start with my views on City of Death? City of Death, I think it's a fantastic story, and it is one of Doctor Who's classic, one of Doctor Who's treasures, and I think one of the best of the classic era.
I think so, yeah. I think the interesting thing. Sorry, if I interrupted you.
Yeah, no. It's okay.
The interesting thing about that, I think, is the fact that by this period, there's an argument to say that Doctor Who was past its best.
Yeah.
So you're into the sort of the latter era of Tom Baker's, which isn't as strong as his early
and
ones.
The other stories in this series, so 17, weren't very strong, and I think this story was shocking how good it is compared to the other 4 in the series. Yeah,
no, it's very strong. So sorry, I sort of interrupted your flow a little bit in terms of your thoughts on it.
Well, yeah, I was saying that this is one of Doctor Who's best stories. Tom Baker and Lala Ward both work together in a good chemistry, a good, relationship in characters, the Doctor and Romana, and I think it's a really different story. I think it's a really funny story. It's got some good humour with Tom Baker in it. It made us laugh at a few times.
Tom Baker's brilliant in it, actually.
Yeah, it's one of Tom Baker's strongest times as the Doctor. I think I prefer Genesis of the Daleks, and I prefer Talons in this, but and I prefer Robots of Death.
Yeah.
And maybe Brain of Morbius.
Which I've not seen Brain of Morbius.
Maybe not Brain of Morbius. I don't know. I can't remember.
It's a very strong episode, though.
It is very strong.
That
Deco's never seen it. Before, so this is his first ever views on City of Death. I've seen it a few times.
And there's reasons I think it's really, really strong. I think you touched on the humour elements of it, and it is very, very funny. And I think actually humour started to come into Doctor Who far more towards the tail end of Tom Baker's era, and then into the next few Doctors. Not so much Peter Davison's perhaps, but
definitely Sylvester McCoy's.
Definitely by Sylvester McCoy's era, yeah. It had a more of a light-hearted sort of family sort of feel to it. And I would say that quite often that was to the detriment of the show. But here, it's really, really effective.
Yeah.
The other things about it, the villain is fantastic.
It is, yeah. It's Staroth, the last of the Jaggeroth.
Looks brilliant.
He does look
big
brilliant.
Sort of green, sort of mangled bogey sort of look.
A good villain. A good villain.
Really strong.
Good villain, and I think it's really good that he's been splintered across time in various sort of forms.
Yeah,
we see him in a few. We've seen him as the soldier man. I forgot his name now.
Yeah, that's right. We do. We see him
also,
at the Da Vinci sort of time, don't we?
Count Skylooney.
Yeah.
And of course Scaroth.
So interestingly, suffering a very similar fate to the fate that was experienced by Clara.
Yeah.
Which enabled her to actually save the Doctor on numerous occasions and incarnations.
Yeah, I know.
So that's quite interesting. Played by
Julian Glover,
who is the same man that plays Pycelle in Game of Thrones. Although I wouldn't have recognised him.
He is in a lot of other things. Yeah, he's in a lot of things.
But I wouldn't have recognised him as Pycelle. But obviously there's a lot of years in the interim period. But great in Game of Thrones as well. But a really strong.
Yeah,
really
he's
strong
great
player.
in this. Julian Glover.
The real interesting one, I think, is the very small 30-second cameo by John Cleese.
Yeah,
which I'm not sure the relevance of it.
He only says 2 lines.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the relevance of it was at all, but I assume he just wants to be in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Romana 2.
What about Romana 2?
What do you make of her?
I think she's a really good companion. I think she's stronger than number 1, Romana 1.
Yeah.
And I think her and the Doctor work really well together, and it's quite good to have a different sort of companion, a more clever sort of Doctor-like companion, and you've sort of got 2 companions that are both like that.
They are more like
people.
equals, aren't they?
Yeah, more like equals. I think it's very different than a companion like the previous one, Leela. So, I think she's quite a good companion. Yeah, I think she works well as a companion, and I've always liked her as Romana.
Story itself very strong.
Yes,
I think it's a very simple sort of concept on it, but really sort of strong concept of sort of spoilers plenty here, but the whole fact that what's the baddie's name again? Scaroth. He's sort of obviously been splintered in time, as we talked about earlier, but he's actually been using his various different components to be able to help him build up sufficient money to be able to build the time machine that he needs to be able to go back in time and stop the incident happening which caused him to be splintered.
Yeah, which I think is really good, and it's quite a complicated sort of... not complicated... sort of an idea which is timey-wimey, as they would call it nowadays.
Yeah. No, it's very, very strong. I've liked it very much.
Yeah, me too.
And actually, I mean, should we talk about where we placed it in our rankings?
Yeah, we don't have a randomizer today. I forgot. I did say we'd explain the randomizer, but we're not going to.
No. We haven't got randomizer today because we're going to be watching Power of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Basically.
So then, that's still going, right?
Yeah.
I've got it 5th.
And I've got it 5th as well. So that's 5th out of 185 that we've watched.
85.
85, not 185, right. So 5th out of the 85 that we've watched since we started the randomizer.
Is this updated?
Yes, it is all updated.
So 4th Doctor, we're still in between 30 and 40% in Doctor Who episodes watched for the 4th Doctor, and in series there's every 2 series in here.
Just be the in-between ones will be in between.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For series 17, we have watched one of them now.
Well,
we have watched one of them. For series 7.
I thought we watched another one with Romana in Romana 2. Was she in more than one series?
We watched Leisure Hive.
Yeah.
But that was in the next series.
Ah, that explains it then. I forget because the companions don't necessarily sit in one whole series in Classic Who, do they? They might appear in episode 4 and disappear in episode 3 of the next season or something.
Yeah.
So, a lot more random. Okay, so I think we've probably talked enough about that, have we?
Yes, we have.
Very, very, very good indeed. Very, very, very good indeed.
Very, very, very good.
So, scores on the doors.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait! Before we do that, too good, too bad.
I can't think of a bad.
No.
Good.
Too good.
I think it has the monster Scaroth is great.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well.
Okay. Sorry.
Fiend. I'm going to say the Doctor and his great one-liners.
Yeah.
His cheekiness, the cheekiness of Tom Baker.
Yeah, I can't think of bad.
Is there anything bad in it?
It was too good.
It was too good. It is difficult to think of anything too bad. It's all good, isn't it? It's because it's got also the is there anything too bad?
No, there isn't anything too bad.
No, it isn't. So you only get too good this time.
Yeah.
There's nothing too bad.
But there was with class.
Yes.
So that's the end of the. Scores.
Scores, yeah.
Monsters.
I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a 9 because I really like this film.
Yeah. Character development.
Not that much character development wise. 7.
Yeah. Excitement.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'd say it's not really built around excitement, but in its own way, it's exciting. So I'll give it 8.
Pace.
Really good pace to it. 4 parts. Doesn't want to be any more. Certainly doesn't want to be any less. 9.
And story, which story's our new score.
9.
And that is 42 out of 50.
So that's pretty strong.
Pretty strong. If it's in the 40s, it's quite strong.
Yeah.
It's a sign of a strong episode. For all 5 elements. Overall, you can do points.
I'm going to give it a 8.9.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8.8.
Okay. So there we have it. City Death, definitely worth checking out.
Definitely
one
worth.
Of the best to check out, I would suggest.
Yes, I would recommend this one highly, and I think it's a very strong story. Yeah. We haven't watched a pure classic for a while now.
No. So, but hopefully we will be the next week because we are watching.
Well, no, we'll reveal it at the end.
Okay. So what do we have on next week's show then? Can you reveal it?
It's episode 100. You can reveal it. It's episode 186, and we are going to be looking in part 6 and the final part for a while of the 6 challenge, and we'll be looking at the top 6 companions.
We'll be reviewing Power of the Daleks.
Which is, people would have thought we were reviewing Paradise Towers.
Oh, phew, I bet they're lucky, aren't they?
Yeah, and we're lucky. Power of the Daleks, the new animated version of Power of the Daleks. We'll be reviewing episode 6 of Class Detained.
We'll be giving you more news and views from the whoniverse.
And we will be pressing the magic randomizer button.
If you want to get in touch with us, how do people get in touch with us?
They can tweet us at drwhotime as in N space.
Or Mark Freak Geek, Mark with a C.
Not with the geek with the C.
No.
And that's just Chavi. And we... and you can look at the Mr. Lewis Moon Adventures.weebly.com to see the show notes from this week's show, to see all of the news, see all of the blogs, our full reviews of Class, and all such things. On Twitter, by the way, you can let us know this week anything, including what you thought about Class Episode 5, or City of Death, or your top 6 monsters, or for next week, tell us what you thought of the animated Power of the Daleks if you watched it, and your top 6 companions. But until then, until next time.
Yeah, tatty bye.
Tatty bye. We'll see you next time, same
same space.
Tatty bye!